Following The Force Awakens, one of the most frequent questions that was asked involved Rey and her confrontation with Kylo Ren. How was she able to defeat him so easily upon Starkiller Base when he had years of training in the Force and she seemingly had none? And the question didn't just stop at Rey and Kylo's lightsaber duel, but also extended to Rey's overall abilities with the Force and why she was so powerful at the time of Episode 7. I myself offered an explanation years ago as to why Rey was able to best Kylo on Starkiller Base despite his years of training, drawing some connections between Kylo and the Sith Lord Darth Malgus in Legends. But I guess a work known as the official The Last Jedi novelization was recently released and provided a pretty comprehensive explanation for these questions, so I guess it's time we update this topic. In this video expose, I will explain why Rey was so powerful in Episode 7, and describe why she was able to defeat Kylo so easily despite the fact that she had no training in either the Force or lightsaber combat like Kylo did. As explained in The Last Jedi novelization, when Kylo attempted to probe Rey's mind after taking her prisoner upon Takodana, much more happened between the two than was entirely evident. Of course, Rey was able to reveal much of Kylo's own thoughts, allowing her to learn that his greatest fear was that he would never be as strong as Darth Vader. But that wasn't all that Rey was able to discover during their connection. Acting almost on instinct as she invaded Kylo's mind, Rey was able to access and learn some of the powers that Kylo could command, even if she didn't totally understand them or the full extent of their power. As the novelization states, it was as if his training had become hers, unlocking and flinging open door after door in her mind. Therefore, in the scene in which Rey learns of Kylo's greatest fear in Episode 7, we see that she was actually able to undergo a type of crash course in her training regarding the Force and lightsaber combat, accessing these powers by finding them within Kylo's mind. These powers would then be used by Rey to defeat Kylo upon Starkiller Base. But as it relates specifically to why Rey was able to defeat Kylo, it's also necessary to look at what we learned about Kylo himself at the time of his duel with Rey. Certainly, the fact that Kylo was struck with a bolt from Chewbacca's bowcaster can't be ignored as an important factor in their duel. Although we learn in the novelization that Kylo was able to suppress some of the energy from the shot just before it hit him, he was still nonetheless feeling the effects of it by the time of Episode 8. And it had to have some impact on his defeat to Rey on Starkiller. But more important than the physical effects of the bowcaster on Kylo was what we learned about his mental situation. When Kylo goes before Snoke and the Supreme Leader inspects the damage done to his young apprentice, Snoke eventually sees the truth of what happened to Kylo following his murder of Han Solo, telling Kylo that he had far too much of his father's heart in him. Although Kylo was adamant that he performed the deed and didn't hesitate when killing his father, Snoke was hardly impressed, telling his apprentice that it was petulance and not strength that caused him to ignite his blade. Further, Snoke concludes, "And look at you. The deed split your spirit to the bone. You were unbalanced, bested by a girl who never held a lightsaber. You failed." This line is important as it shows that Kylo was still carrying the burden of killing his father with him by the time he confronted Rey on Starkiller. And not only that, but he was unbalanced and broken, split in half as Snoke says by the time of their duel. There's a nice parallel between what Snoke saw as the reason for Kylo's defeat to Rey, and what Sidious saw as the reason for Vader's defeat to Obi-Wan on Mustafar. In the novel Dark Lord: The Rise of Darth Vader, Sidious recognized that Vader was also split in two, or between two worlds as he put it, when he was defeated upon Mustafar. Like Snoke saw in Kylo, Sidious saw that Vader was also unbalanced at the time of his defeat to Obi-Wan. But whereas Sidious endeavored to bring Vader fully to the dark side, Snoke had practically all but given up on Kylo once he saw how the murder of Han affected his apprentice. Therefore, Rey's ability to learn Kylo's powers from him once she invaded his mind was crucial to why she was so powerful in Episode 7. The perspective of Kylo and just how much he was impacted by his father's death can't be ignored when discussing his defeat to Rey on Starkiller. So there we have it. Why Rey defeated Kylo Ren on Starkiller Base so easily and without training. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. Or perhaps follow us on Twitter at SW Reading Club for updates regarding the channel. Or support the channel through Patreon for access to exclusive hangouts and book discussions. If not for me... For petulance.